Guys, check out the cool shirt that Mo got me for Christmas. It's The Thing, but it's also Donkey Kong. Isn't that awesome? It's that time of year again. 2018 has come and gone, and it's time for me to break down the lists of all the stuff I saw this year. I'm going to be doing things a little differently this year, guys. Number one, I'm going to be combining all my thoughts succinctly into one video, one long video that you're watching right now, as opposed to spreading them out over several videos. Number two, I'm going to be talking a little bit about horror TV as well that I feel you should watch because it's excellent. And number three, you will not be getting a worst of 2018 lists this year. It will not be happening. I'm trying to put that side of me behind me now, having made a feature film and understanding the difficulties of it and the fact that things don't always turn out the way you want them to. I'm trying to be a little more respectful of filmmakers, even the ones who make movies that I don't particularly like, because I know it's not easy, and I want to put that part of me to rest. And honestly, it's rare you're gonna get those kind of videos from me anymore unless it's a major motion picture that had millions of dollars behind it and managed to make me so angry that it sets me off. But because you were all going to harass me about it, here's a quick rundown of the top 5 movies that disappointed me personally the most in 2018. I'm not going to go into detail, I'm literally just going to run this off because I don't want to harp on this. Number 5, The Predator. Number 4, The Nun. Number 3, Halloween. Number 2, Slender Man. Number 1, The Cloverfield Paradox. There we go. It's out of the way. Moving on. I want to take a quick moment to talk about some excellent horror TV that came out this year because, man, this was a great year for horror television-wise. I'm likely going to revisit a lot of these shows in 2019 to actually review them, but in the meantime, here are some shows from this past year that you should definitely check out. Channel Zero, both Butcher's Block and The Dream Door, because we were fortunate enough to get 2 seasons of one of the best horror shows on television this year. Channel Zero, as I detailed in my Save Channel Zero video, is probably one of the best horror shows on network television at the moment. It's consistently pushing boundaries with its oppressively Lovecraftian and nightmarish visuals, and there's really nothing else quite like it. Whether it's giving you horrific creatures like the Meat Servant or the Pestilent God, or adorably lovable imaginary friends come to life like Pretzel Jack. There really has yet to be any weak content from this show and its creator Nick Antosca. It's top quality horror made for minimal money on the Sci-Fi Channel, and I would say this year was probably its most adventurous and successful one yet. The Haunting of Hill House. Y'all knew this was going to be on here. The hype is real, and I'm absolutely going to do a discussion on this entire series next year. But the short version is this. It's a heart-wrenching, beautiful character study surrounded in trauma and loss and grief and mental illness and ghosts and a really, really dysfunctional family. And it's absolutely fantastic. Not only did it make me cry once per episode from the 3rd episode onward, but it's also just probably some of the best television I've watched this year. Mike Flanagan is, to this day, one of my favorite working horror directors, and he outdid himself with this series. To go into any more detail would be spoiling some aspect of it, so I'm just going to say this. If you haven't watched it yet, what are you doing? Sharp Objects. It's an HBO miniseries, and this basically functions as Amy Adams' Emmy reel for the year. It's based on a novel by Gillian Flynn, the writer of Gone Girl, and that kind of tells you everything you need to know about it. Midwest Gothic, small-town murder, missing girls, disturbing as fuck imagery, and flat out some of the best acting I've seen all year. The 3 female leads, Amy Adams, Patricia Clarkson, and Eliza Scanlon, are incredible in this series. All 3 of them are going to be up for awards. I genuinely cannot say anything about this show without spoiling some aspect of it, so I'm just going to recommend it very highly and leave it at that. Just be warned, it's extremely heavy. And now here are my honorable mentions for film. First off, I would just like to say that The Endless would be on this list if it wasn't already my number 2 slot of 2017. A really big shout out to Perry Blackshear and the Rusalka for delivering an absolutely beautiful directed horror romance with a lot of heart behind it. Incident in a Ghostland, for all of my issues with the director, was an absolutely terrifying, miserable experience that accomplished its goal of searing itself into my brain and staying there. There's a lot of this stuff in this movie that still hasn't left my head, and while I don't necessarily agree with it all ethically, it's a damn good film whether I like it or not. Cold Hell gets a shout out for being a really accomplished, solid feminist think piece and a badass action thriller all rolled into one. Unsane deserves a lot of praise solely for being a well-delivered psychological horror flick that consistently plays with its audience expectations and gaslights its viewers, all while being shot on an iPhone. And lastly, Overlord for being one of the most fun experiences I've had at the movies this year outside of Into the Spider-Verse. It's an insanely handled, balls-to-the-wall action horror flick that delivers in just about every way I could have wanted it to. Plus, you get to watch Nazis die. What's not to love? And now for my top 10 horror films of 2018. These are not based on ratings. These are not based on anything other than my personal enjoyment of the film, so if you don't agree, that's fine. Number 10, A Quiet Place. A really strong directorial debut by John Krasinski, with some really well-crafted sci-fi horror, and by far one of the most tense sequences I've seen on a film this year. Incredible sound design, cool creature design, and a lot of really good emotional weight to it. Enough said. Number 9. The Ritual. I really love this movie a lot the more I thought about it. It's such a tense, claustrophobic film despite the fact that it takes place in European mountains in the forest. It has the benefits of gorgeous production design, a really isolated location, as well as one of the most creative monster designs I've ever seen. And it's definitely one you need to check out if you have Netflix. Number 8. Pyewacket. Really nothing much else to say about this one except for the fact that it's a cruel, unrelenting, dread-fueled film, and it's full of several genuinely freaky moments. Adam McDonald knows how to craft a horror film, and Pyewacket's meticulous framing and camera work make it one of the most well-handled films of the year by far. On top of that, this movie did something I really didn't expect and actually made the relationship between the mother and the daughter, who are at odds, very fleshed out and three-dimensional, and it really makes the ending of the film that much harder to watch. Number 7. Revenge. A fucking badass, stylized, feminist action horror flick. It's a rape revenge film directed by a woman, which right away piqued my interest because that's not a subgenre you tend to see tackled by female directors, let alone first-time female directors. And it really does a stellar job at analyzing and deconstructing the male gaze in cinema. Do you hate the patriarchy and want the general satisfaction of watching sexual predators get what's coming to them? Because you're gonna fucking love this movie if that's the case. Number 6. Ghost Stories. The brain sees what it wants to see, and Ghost Stories takes this fact and runs with it and uses it against you as a viewer by using clever camera tricks and lighting tricks to fool your brain into seeing things that aren't there. This movie genuinely creeped me out, and that is not an easy thing to do. And I've never experienced a film like this, where it's actually playing with your brain and manipulating you into seeing things in the film that aren't there. I've honestly never seen anything like that in a film before, and for that reason, I loved this movie. Number 5. Annihilation. Man, this movie feels like it came out 3 years ago. That's how long 2018 has been. This is probably the closest I've seen to Lovecraftian horror this year, and it also contains one of the freakiest scenes I've witnessed in a film this year. Its visuals are absolutely stunning, its body horror is absolutely grotesque, and it tackles some really interesting themes about humanity and what makes us, us. Number 4. Cam. It's no secret that I loved this movie. I've seen it like 3 or 4 times since it came to Netflix alone. It's an honest depiction of the culture of camming, written and partially directed by a former cam girl, meant to destigmatize sex work as a whole by showing it for what it is, which is just another job. And I think it does so incredibly effectively with poignant, sex-positive writing, an incredibly immersive performance by Madeline Brewer where she completely disappears into the character, and one of the best soundtracks of the year by far. Number 3. Mandy. This and Cam were neck and neck for this spot, I will be honest. And Mandy only got it because it's probably the most original film I've seen this year. I've never seen such an uncompromised vision from any director. This shit is pure imagination ripped from the consciousness of a dude who I can only assume does way too many drugs, but in the best way. Nick Cage is at his absolute best here and fits perfectly in with this insane heavy metal world. The visuals are trippy and beautiful to look at, and the action is so crazy over the top in the most creative way. And on top of that, it gave us Cheddar Goblin.
Cheddar Goblin! Cheddar Goblin! Yeah!
Number 2. Hereditary. Shit, yeah, you guys thought this was going to be number 1, didn't you? Hereditary is an incredibly well-crafted film, and the fact that it's a directorial debut makes it only that much more impressive. It's rife with symbolism, creepy cult shit, and some of the most intense, haunting visuals you'll ever see. Toni Collette's performance is electric, and I will be genuinely shocked if she's not nominated for an Oscar for her performance in this. It's full of imagery that you cannot unsee no matter how hard you try. It's horrific. That's the best way I can put it. It's just horrific. This movie made me forget to breathe on several occasions, and it made me sleep with the lights on the night that I saw it. That's not an easy feat. And the number 1 movie of 2018 is Suspiria. I mean, there's no surprise here, guys, honestly. This was not only my favorite horror film of 2018, it was my favorite film of 2018, full stop. This movie is a goddamn masterpiece beginning to end. Less of a remake and more of a ground-up reimagining that actually succeeds in places that the original failed. Its main focus is on the witchcraft and the dance. Everything is a spectacle. It features a triple performance by Tilda Swinton. At times it feels like something that we should not be watching. The dance choreography is nothing short of breathtaking. Its 70s aesthetic is perfect. The score by Thom Yorke is haunting, and I own it. It proves that Dakota Johnson can act. And, on top of that, it features one of the most insane, unexpected, mind-blowing climaxes I've seen in a film this year. My jaw hit the floor several times, and it's a film that I have not stopped thinking about since my first viewing. And I've seen it twice since then. This is auteur filmmaking. Luca Guadagnino is a genius. And I cannot wait for you guys who didn't see it in theaters to finally be able to see it when it comes to home video release at the end of January. And that's it for 2018, guys. We'll be back next year with all new content and a new segment that I've been dying to introduce for a long time. I'm really gonna try, and this is my New Year's resolution. If you're watching this, Kate, you know I'm serious about it. My resolution this year, I'm gonna cross over with that movie chick. It's gonna happen. Thank you all so much for a wonderful year. Even though a lot of the things happening in the real world were shitty, it's nice to have this channel to come to and a bunch of you to talk to about movies that I enjoyed and I want to talk to you about. You guys all help to make it bearable, and for that I appreciate each and every one of you more than I can express. So that's that, guys. You have a happy new year. Click down there if you want to subscribe. Click down there if you want to explore my Patreon. Be like my cool patrons. And I will see you all in the new year. Have a happy new year, guys.